Hey, I was just thinking it would be all this technology would be great when you were a kid, because several people have said, and I know I prefer to deal with people through my vlog, because for many reasons. But imagine if when you're a kid, it's like, Mr. Clean your room, and you could be like, listen, Mom, check out my vlog to see why in full detail I have not cleaned my room. All right, catch you later. That would be great. I hadn't made a vlog in a few days. I just really didn't feel like it. It's kind of a hassle now, and I haven't been feeling well at all. I'm still configuring hardware and software so that I can just do one massive send all at once and get that over with, which will be, I'm curious about that. It already works on a small scale, and there's no reason that can't be amped up to a massive scale and save everybody time. So that's happening. It'll probably happen the middle of next month. I'm going to get a few more things done, man. I have really done several songs. Came out real nice. A few songs lately. Yeah, the issue I've been having is for the last several years, whenever I turn my head to the left, I get kind of dizzy. And for a heavy smoker like me, that's a pretty sure sign of carotid artery blockage, and it's sort of become like much more intense lately. I can't really feel my arm, and left upper part of my body starting to be messed up. All the classic stuff. Anyway, and the reason that I smoke, and pretty much constantly, is I have a rare neurological disease, and for some reason it just really helps with that. It's I have a thing they call the suicide disease, the most painful condition known to medical science, and that's why I sort of live, well, it's definitely why I live like I do, and completely alone, and in this circumstance and situation. When you're really in a lot of pain or really sick, what happens is you really don't feel like being messed with, and nobody wants to mess with you, and then you sort of lose the ability to really take care of yourself in society. I'll put that in quotes. So it's frustrating too with this thing, because I'll be like talking to my family members, which I don't really know, and I reconnected with a while back. By the way, I've got like a ZZ Top beard going on here. I'm doing a couple of ZZ Top covers where I'm gonna like let the beard out because it looks very ZZ Top, and I have some hilarious stuff planned for that, if I live long enough. Yeah, the symptoms are getting real bad, but yeah, what's frustrating, and when you have a rare disease like this, it looks like I'm fine. It's hard. Only really highly trained doctors will know what this is, and what, all they can do is just cram you full of drugs and hope for the best, and that is a real drag. I take a lot of aspirin to keep the clotting down, and I'm almost out. I'm down to my last 3, which is kind of a life or death thing for me right now. It's really important at this point, but it's good for pain. Yeah, I mean, when you have something like this, I won't talk about it just briefly for a second here. It's really frustrating, because I'll be like, when I re-met my mom after 30 years, and she doesn't know me or anything about me, none of my family does, any of the accomplishments I've done, or so that that's whatever. We're all sort of focused on our own thing, but I was like, this is serious, Mom, I have a real serious thing here. And she's like, some days I'd be like, oh my God, I wouldn't even say anything, but she's like, I gotta lay down. I spent a year with that, and cancer and other problems, drinking myself to death for one thing, laying in a little room. I almost never left for that year at her place, and Walmart let me park the damn RV there for 1 year without really moving it much. God bless Walmart, but I didn't figure I'd ever go back and get it. I thought, let them take it. I'll die in this little room, you know. And anyway, I'd tell my mom, like, you know, or something. She'd say, is that hurting? And I'd go, you know, yeah, for 15 years, incurable. And she'd go, well, you know, my big toe hurts today, or my neck has been bothering me. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's so rare for a human being to experience this level of pain ever that a regular person cannot possibly understand how it devastates your life. And it's frustrating to have somebody go, or my sister will go, yeah, my shoulder and my neck have been bothering me. And I'm like, dude, I have been shot and stabbed, and both times I went like, I'm not dramatic about medical shit. I was like, oh man, fuck, you know, some son of a bitch damn near cut my arm off, dude, you know, get me to a can of diesel. That was in Mexico, long story. And he did, actually. It's hard for me to lift this arm. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Damn near cut this arm off, my guitar and arm. Long story, but yeah. You know, but that, no, both times I've been severely hurt, you know. It didn't even hold a shadow compared to this. So anyway, that's about that. You know, Google. I remember the first day that Google it went from Lycos and Alta Vista, several search engines, to they basically stole technology from Lycos and Alta Vista to create Google. And I remember when it was a pure search engine. In other words, if you entered text, well, I really don't feel good, but if you entered a text string, it would return on your computer that exact thing you were looking for scientifically. Then I remember the first day when I searched for something and what came back wasn't scientifically like accurate, the most popular or the most relevant. It was based on who had paid to place their ad there. And see, what's kind of wrong with that is computers are still in their infancy, so people really don't get what's going on yet. A lot don't. A lot are really incredibly hip on the internet, and you know, I find people all the time, it's like, well, he understands, you know, as I do, what this is, and other people are kind of like, well, these crazy machines, you know. But for the first time in the history of history, it's changing a lot of things, and quickly, I might add. But yeah, I remember the first day that came up, and it kind of broke my heart, because I was like, oh fuck, you know, now is it no longer a scientific tool, it's a money making tool. And the problem with that is, herein lies the rub, is that that data can easily be manipulated, and is, I might add. And it's not a conspiracy thing, these are just facts. And with human beings, all you have to do to find the truth about anything, everything, is figure that human beings have been involved, and think what you would do at your best and your worst, whether you're a cop or a priest or whatever. You know, I've had people tell me, oh, police don't do this and that. Well, bullshit. I fucking consulted for the major you know, security and you know, intelligence agencies in the United States. I've seen behind, I know what goes on, and they're human beings just like everybody else. So I've had a rare opportunity to just kind of see behind all this stuff. And yeah, so I mean, with Google, it's kind of like, how do I know, like, it's really out of control and greedy and shouldn't be that way? That's what I would do at my worst, and probably would, you know. For instance, if you search for if you search for a pair of pliers, you will get maybe not the most popular or most relevant pair of pliers. You'll get the pair of pliers presented to you that Google feels that somebody paid Google to present, or also that they feel. It doesn't cost them anything to manipulate data. So they also manipulate data based on you. So if you search for political stories, for instance, you might get only data that shows one side instead of what they want you to see, which is even sort of more dangerous. Think about it. They could, if they, and I don't follow politics or religion at all. I found those to be dead ends in a vlog. That's why I made a couple of my vlog files no comments, because I figured out, how all that stuff works, and I think for how it definitely works with no it's not up for discussion. So no, I didn't want to get into a big discussion about it. It's like, I know how things work, and not, I should say for me, but I know how the universe functions, and it's like, if you want to think otherwise, okay, that's cool, do your thing. I think I'm sharp enough to figure out the truth of things. But yeah, with imagine if they wanted to back a political candidate, it doesn't cost them anything to just push a button, and suddenly one candidate's message doesn't get out, but the others does every time. Or it's unlimited. The potential and for corruption, and also power of what they do, is unlimited. The ability to search and organize data on a computer is central to the computer, and it is the computer. So here's the thing. What is going to happen with that is, where the computers are in their infancy, really, and a lot of people don't get it, but so a lot of things go on. The internet used to be the complete Wild West. It's still kind of the Wild West, but a lot of things go on that shouldn't. And one thing is that eventually there's going to be a Supreme Court case, at least here in America, although they're global, but in America we set the tone, because being able to dominate that search and organize function is so, it's like trying to copyright or patent a shoelace. It's like, it's something that everybody should have free and unrestricted, and people don't get that yet. But Google will probably be, within, I'd say 5 years, definitely 10, be taken over by the governments, probably U.S. government, who knows. That's why the Chinese don't allow them to operate in their country. It's because the capacity to manipulate data is incredible and incredibly profitable. So, I haven't even done all that much research on this. I don't have to. Computers have been my life for, many years. It's how you make music. It's how you make art. It's how you do everything, communicate. So I got hip to that when I was a child, and, as well as having a nifty education on the subject, and other ones. So yeah, I mean, it's just stunning how it really is, how vast YouTube is, how vast Google is, how vast the computers in the world are, and this sort of ability that they have to manipulate data in their favor, I might add. I mean, at one time I worked in the music and film industries, and those industries have taken a horrific hit because of YouTube. Horrific. And that money just didn't disappear. They're struggling and going broke. Well, all the money that they were making has simply been transferred to Google. So they make money from advertising, showing all the stuff for free on YouTube. And they're like the 9,000-pound gorilla and elephant in the room. They don't give a shit. Nobody can fight them. If I heard from somebody from YouTube or Google, it would almost be like, it's like the Wizard of Oz, or like having a chat with God himself. You sort of, it's unbelievable the power they wield, and that they can do it. It's just fascinating. But anyway, my prediction, they'll be taken over by the government, and not too soon, within 5 years probably. People, as computers become more an integral part of society and life, it's sort of obvious. Well, the ability to search and organize, that's like telling people they can't make their own shoestrings. Tough one to pull off, and to tell them they don't have the right to. So anyway, there's that, and oh, I got like some hate mail from some. I dated 3 beautiful Asian women named Connie in the 90s, and I got some hate mail from one of them. So, because I posted, I had a band called Stalking Connie about that, and I never. A friend of mine was making fun of me because he thought I should like call the girl, and I didn't. One of them anyway. I didn't. I saw him one day and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm calling this girl. Like, he asked me several times, and 2 weeks later it was like he saw me again, and I was calling her. I just happened to 2 weeks later trying again to no avail, and he was like, "Dude, you're totally stalking Connie." And I'm like, "Oh man," he was saying like, "Oh, you're stalking her," huh? Anyway, making fun of me because I so wasn't. But then I thought, well, those 2 words sound funny, and we were laughing. He goes, "You should call your band that," you know. Anyway, she sent me some hate mail, so you know. Fuck you, you're still a whore, whatever, right? I just don't care either way, so I'll probably take that one down if I can find it. I named a file something about her, but I never knew the chick, really, tell you the truth. Definitely don't care now. Let's see, yeah, you know, just health issues and stuff, and like I say, the reason I made a couple of these non-commenters is you know, I didn't want to discuss some of the things. It just goes round and round and leads nowhere. I don't know, you know, I mean, I've been feeling pretty rough, but other than that, we'll see. Somebody sent me a letter last night. It's really cool, you know, this has really made me have faith in the people of the world. Somebody sent me a letter last night. I was working real hard, like 4 in the morning, mixing something, and just got done tracking and mixing for like 20 straight hours and feeling terrible, and having to lay down every, you know, hour for 15 and deep breathe and get up. And anyway, in the middle of the night, from Indonesia or Malaysia over there, I always think I'm facing south to the right and down when I think of those countries, you know, there they are. But it said, "Thanks for the friend invite, and I really understand and completely," in broken English, "I really understand and completely appreciate. Thank you for all of the very, very hard work you are doing on your videos and music on your website. You know, I completely understand. Thank you for all your hard work." And I thought, wow, you know, this guy, he obviously had gone through more than just my music. He had done a little research and figured out some of my situation. So that was cool. Those always come in all the time, and you know, stuff like that right when I'm just thinking like, you know, nobody cares, what am I doing, blah 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 blah. And so that's always nice, you know. And then the other thing I was thinking about was being alone, and it's been key to this, and really one of the reasons why. Oh, I got to turn the hot water heater off. One of the reasons why is people tend to, when you have big ideas and are executing them, and I've done some pretty cool stuff in my life that turned out great. In fact, almost every time, just because I'm determined more than anything. But being around others, they tend to, because of the way evolution has worked and so on, when you have a great idea, they tend to throw fear and doubt your way. And that's another reason that I kind of will shut off. I shut off one of the vlogs because I know what I'm doing. I don't need your fears or your doubts. Not that anybody would, but that knows me, but strangers or whatever, I don't want to hear it. But it's been so key because I'm not kidding myself or deluding myself or whatever. I'm very, you know, I write it all out and think about it and look at the pros and cons of everything. It's like, yeah, I can make this a very popular, profitable website within 2 years, and people really like what I'm doing, and that's great, you know, and I'm getting better and better. But, you know, being alone has been so key because whenever you're trying to do something great, you know, or revolutionary or different or controversial, a lot of times when you're around other people, you'll think, you know what, if I start a business, I can really kick ass, and somebody will chime in and throw doubt in because of their own fear. They'll jump in and go, well, now you know, you could lose everything, and you know, fuck you for dreaming, basically. And what they're really saying is, there's a couple things behind that. Back in the days of cavemen, for instance, you know, two cavemen are looking over a hill nobody's ever been over, and one caveman is thinking, you know what? I can get all the flint I need down there, and I'm willing to try it, and I'm damn sure I can do this. I've seen how far it is. I've measured it. I've thought about it. I can run over there through the saber-toothed tigers and get that stuff. And the other guy's thinking, if Og goes over there, B, he might get killed, and he's part of this tribe, so I need to, it's just automatic. I need to sort of say something to help keep him alive. That's one thought. But but B is, if Og goes over there, he might discover something and get something that I don't have, and discover something I don't know and become more powerful. So let me fuck him up in his little plan of going over the hill. So, life works that way a lot. It's been so great to be above everybody else's doubts and fears and just go, I am doing this, I can do this, and it's not even up for discussion kind of a thing. Because so many times in my life, I've managed to do things, but I've had to also deal with other people's fears and doubts when it's like, dude, I have researched this for years. This is, what I'm doing. I have yet to do something that was really like epic or great without having someone sort of throw their little 2 cents in, And like I'm saying, I'm not talking about people who watch my vlog and know me, just somebody who cruises along and sees it. And even then the comments are metered, which is something that idiot chick didn't realize. All it did was give me her YouTube website, let me capture that. She didn't get to post anything publicly. And it's like, I'm going to actually get rid of that file just so I can permanently get rid of her. I hadn't thought of her in 25 years. But it was like, I kind of feel sorry for her. Anyway, but I wish her well. God bless her and her little career. Yeah, doubt and fear. But what a sharp, razor sharp thing it is to be free of other people's fears and doubts and aspersions or dispersions or both. What a beautiful thing it is to follow your own heart, not blindly, but with the latest, most accurate information, and make your own judgment calls and go, okay, I'm following my own heart here, without having somebody go, now you can't really do. It's like if you're good when you're a kid at I never was, but at dance or at poetry, some sissy stuff in the schoolyard, and you show extraordinary talent at that. It's like having all the other kids go, oh, you're a poet, you're a dancer, and it's like, instead of going, yeah, kick some ass dancing, man, they're making fun of you. And the reason that is because they want to do it themselves, and no, they can't, and want to shoot you down. We want to shoot each other down. That's what reminded me. It was about Schadenfreude, delight in other people's failure. But it's just curious how it's so obvious now, being like beyond other people's doubts and fears. It's like, oh man, this is so key to really not kid yourself and do exhaustive research on a subject. But then when you're already in the process of carrying it out, then their doubt and fear can only hamper you. My last thought on that is, when I was a kid once, and I was in 6th grade, I weighed probably 60, 80 pounds, whatever, and I was lifting from the clean and jerking, weights. I can't hardly move my arm, and I had 150 pounds on there, and I'd done it once and put it down. I was going to do it again, and the coach walked in. He went like, Eric, you can't lift that much weight, put that down, right when I was going up. And what happened was that fear and doubt made me lose the thing, and I dropped it on a wooden floor that was valuable and dented it, and everybody got pissed off. But that fear of his and that doubt shot through me and destroyed my strong momentum. So I just can't tell you, if you've never, there's a cost to being alone too, but yeah, right, we were born alone and we'll die alone, that whole thing. But there's a big cost to it too. But if you've never experienced this, try it. To be beyond other people's fear and doubt, and to really examine every situation and say, yes, I can do this. And after that, there's no question, there's no fear, there's no doubt. And you don't have people constantly going, well, that's not working out for you. Or, it's like, go peddle your fear elsewhere, asshole. It really has been something I've had to contend with, and we all do. Anyway, that's what's been on my mind and other stuff. I always forget the stuff I want to talk about in a vlog, but there you go. 25 coming up. If anybody follows this, great, and no, it's the kind of thing where I've never been happier, even though I'm not well at all and may not survive this. And if I didn't have this weird disease that's completely horrible, I would be much more interested in sort of racing to a hospital to treat this. But we'll see. I'll see how that plays out. I'm not afraid. You know what? It's weird. I was always afraid to die. Everybody is, I think. Not the least bit afraid. Curious, yes. Afraid, no. Part of that comes too from realizing, I hate to get on the God thing quickly, but just knowing the true nature of how the universe works in God. And basically that's just common sense. I mean, God is a common sense being. There's not all kinds of invisible magic and bullshit. It's common sense. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts. So yeah, I'll be pushing that button sometime next month after the money and some software I need and a few other things get here. So that I'm just curious to see how, more than anything else, it's just one of those things I've got to do. It definitely will work and is working right now, but on a bigger scale. And we'll see. I'm curious. Now it's time for me to crash out for the first time in forever. I think that's it. Vlog done.